I feel like shit today, and I'm not sure if it's self-inflicted illness from this weekend, or if I'm just sick of Democrats seeming to never learn the lessons they are repeatedly taught the hard way. Either they are the most incompetent people in the world, or they are genuinely trying to lose. Like, if you're gonna keep doing the exact same things wrong again and again and again, eventually people are gonna start thinking that you're doing them wrong on fucking purpose. Like, they ask us what we want and then instantly turn into Helen Keller when we try to tell them, okay, we really need to protect disenfranchised communities. Can you guys help us out with that? Virginia just ratified the ERA, which means we've got enough states to sign the Equal Rights Amendment into law. You think maybe you could do that on your way out the door, Biden? What do we get? A fucking loading screen. Just the spinning wheel of death as a response. Now, to be fair, that could be because Biden was there when Moses parted the fucking Red Sea, and his brain just doesn't work the way it used to. But that's another thing we've been asking for. Hey, maybe some younger, more progressive leadership instead of a bunch of old white dudes who somehow managed to survive the asteroid that killed the goddamn dinosaurs. Then the House Oversight Committee vote comes up, and Nancy Pelosi pops open the lid to her crypt, and she's like, we hear you, we hear you. How does a nice 74-year-old white dude with throat cancer sound? Good? Good. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And then she just creeped that crypt back shut again. That woman cannot follow Feinstein fast enough. Like, for fuck's sake, what is taking so long? And they're like, hey, maybe you guys could start playing some fucking hardball to actually get something done instead of worrying about bipartisanship and precedent. Because Republicans sure as shit don't play the game that way, and they take advantage of you guys every single time you try to play by the rules and by the precedent. And then we end up with Supreme Court justices that think The Handmaid's Tale should be a documentary while they cry about how much they love fucking beer. So when Republicans took the National Defense Authorization Act and just shoved some anti-trans shit in there for funsies, they're like, hey, that's pretty fucked up. Maybe you should tell Mike Johnson he can go fuck himself and not pass the bill. But did they do that? No. What did all but 10 Democrat U.S. senators do? You know, and you're like, guys, we don't like the anti-trans stuff that Tiny Johnson put in the bill, but we don't want to ruin the whole bill over that, you know? It's an important bill, and we've got bipartisan support. We're just gonna have to look past it and vote to pass it. Why? They fucking tanked the thing. If the roles were reversed, they have. How many government shutdowns do we have over them literally throwing hissy fits over fucking nothing? They tanked the immigration bill that had literally everything in it that they fucking wanted just to not give Joe Biden a win. You had the opportunity, you had the power to do it and tank this bill, and you didn't. But you guys do that all the fucking time. You snatch defeat from the jaws of victory at every turn. Whenever you have a moment, an opportunity, a chance to do something bold and make a statement, you do the fucking opposite. You are the only motherfuckers on the entire planet who could somehow manage to raise $1 billion and still lose to Donald Trump. Twice. And then still somehow manage to learn nothing. Instead of doing any introspection and being like, clearly the problem is us and what we're doing is not working, you know, realize maybe, just maybe, the cataracts and the hearing loss and the Alzheimer's is making it so you're not the best person to steer the fucking ship. Maybe allow somebody who wasn't personally there to witness General Lee surrender at the Appomattox courthouse to give it the old college try. But nah, let's let Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the cast of The Walking Dead keep backing us up and running us into the same goddamn iceberg like they're a boomer from Florida trying to parallel park. Which, if you really ever need to understand why boomers and silent generation shouldn't be in control of anything anymore, just go to a Florida retirement community and watch those fuckers try to drive. It's like that one South Park episode where all the old people leave church or whatever it is at the same time, except it's like that all the time, everywhere in Florida. And that's partially because you only have to renew your driver's license every 8 years in Florida, and you don't have to even start taking vision tests until you're fucking 80. Then once you're 80, you have to renew it every 6 years. So after 80 years old in Florida, you have to go take a vision test to keep your driver's license once every 6 years. Sorry for the side tangent. Florida's just a fucking wild place. And not in any sort of good way. I literally watched this old guy try to back his Camry out of a parking spot. Not like a parallel parking spot, just a regular, straight, perpendicular parking spot in a fucking strip mall. All he had to do was back straight out, and he couldn't pull it off. Instead, he was trying to turn, but he was still in the parking spot, so it kept swinging out and hitting the car next to him. And then he would pull forward and do it again. I watched him do it like 6 fucking times. And then I left, and he was still doing it. I don't know how long he was stuck there, but it's a long time, and it's Florida. You do not intervene. Anyway, these are the people running our fucking country. People who can't manage to navigate a Toyota out of a parking space are steering the whole fucking country, and they are hitting everything. It's like we're playing pinball or passengers in a demolition derby. Every time we try to take Grandma and Grandpa's keys away and be like, hey, maybe it'd be safer if the grandkids drove, they start yelling at us in their old-timey lingo and shaking their finger about how they're perfectly fine. Meanwhile, they've swerved off into oncoming traffic and now they're yelling at the other drivers for going the wrong direction. That is a reality we're living in, and no matter how many street signs they run over, how many light poles they knock down, no matter how many times they use the exit ramp as an on-ramp, how many times we get T-boned, how many head-on collisions they pile drive us into, they will refuse refuse to give up the keys and blame their mangled car on somebody else. Now, to all you old guard Democrats out there, the Bidens, the Pelosi's, the Steny Hoyers, as a person who volunteers for my local DFL, as a person who's voted Democrat in every election since I was 18 years old, as a person who's put in hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of work to help educate people about Democrat Party platforms and candidates and get them out to vote, I want to tell you, and I mean this with all due respect, we fucking hate you. It is insulting how you guys go actively out of your way to ignore us, your constituents, and make the wrong decisions over and over and over again. All because y'all are too narcissistic to let go of power and, go someplace warm to die. And then when we voice our frustrations about it, y'all just come back and you're like, what are you gonna do? Vote for literal Nazis? Because that is literally the only other option, and that is entirely the fault of Democratic leadership. Your guys' refusal to make any changes to how you govern and how you bring new blood into the party, your guys' refusal to listen to younger voters, to court new voting bases, that has allowed Republicans to become completely uncloseted fascists. Like, they don't even fucking hide it anymore. And they've been able to do that because all they have to do is compete with you guys, and you guys suck. And they don't even need to compete with you guys for votes. They just need to rely on you guys always being behind the 8 ball, unresponsive to any change, and just all around so fucking unsufferable and insulting that nobody new is enthused enough to get off the couch to go vote for you in the first place. They don't need to worry about attracting new voters. They know that we're not gonna vote for them. They just need to allow Democrats to Democrat, and they know that most of their voters won't be enthused enough to get up and go vote. And they know that even if they do, you guys will never have enough of a spine to actually stand up to their bullshit anyway. And they'll be able to shut down the government and ram through bills and block Supreme Court justice nominations. Democrats will just sit there and cry about precedent that the Republicans haven't followed in decades. Now here we are, all unwilling participants in a live-action reenactment of idiocracy, thanks to you guys. So Nancy, if you could hurry up and get in the forever box, that'd be fucking great. The rest of you, could you please, for the love of God, just suck slightly less. It's really not that hard. You know what we want. We're not asking for a ton. Just do literally any of it. That'd be great.